Alexa, time to stream.
Sorry. Times 3 what?
Alexa, time to stream. Alexa, turn off Red Tornado. So, I have a timer on a light. I'm waiting to see if it actually works. Guess not. Should have only been like 20 seconds or something, but anyway. So, I've decided to start a personal trainer course. It's an online course to become a certified personal trainer to help people work out. I've been working out for decades. And I've trained for marathons. I've trained for half marathons, full marathons. I've trained for tennis and just for the fun of it. I've done just about every kind of exercise and workout program that's out there, at least in style, if not for the actual ones. From the insanity workouts. Let's see, max insanity, insanity. I've done P90X and P90X2, and I've done some HIIT workouts. I've done Beachbody, Peloton. I've done Athleon X. I've done a lot of them, and so I kind of know what people are putting out there. And of course, I've watched a number of certification folks, and I've done. I did Cali Move the first 3 sessions. I want to do the last 2, but can't afford it. Maybe I'll be able to afford it if I do some personal training. If I can do some personal training and make double what I'm making door dashing, that's good. But it's going to be at least 4 weeks, if not 6, 8. 12 weeks. I don't know. I mean, it can take up to 6 months, but it just all depends on how fast I go through it. So my goal is to try to finish off, get through a module or a unit every couple of days, and just see how long it takes me to get through it. But that said, I got to keep working on this because this is what I want to do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, personal training might be something I like doing. I don't know. I think I can work with people pretty good. So we'll see. I certainly don't mind sharing my opinion on working out. So wish me luck. Anyway, so what have I been working on? So I will say this last couple of days, quite a bit. I kind of got things cleaned up based on from when was I on last? Yesterday? Was it last night? I was having kind of a weird issue. It was prompting me to log. It was prompting me to log in, but it wouldn't let me log in, and I was getting weird errors, so I decided to restart Unity. Let me update things. I'm still working on the game plan, but it's not just the game plan. I've been cleaning up a lot of stuff. And I also I've been working on the playbook, getting the base code of the playbook going. So it's a little bit like game plan, so I had to get that working again. I actually got so I don't know. I have no idea what my numbers are, but hopefully they're at least going forward. What is that? Okay, let's go see what we got running here. So what I did do, I kind of, like I said, I've been cleaning up my. Yesterday there was a number of things that were kind of not working that I had just kind of broke over time. I added some things, updated other things, and never really fully tested the path through everything. And I also cleaned up, took out some files and pieces that were no longer in use, and just doing some basic cleanup refactoring. So. And I got my play images, or at least I think I do. Got my play images finally loading. Ta-da! Yay, look at that, got plays! You can click on them and they have the play image on them. They are, well, honestly, even though this is cool to be a football field, they're really just not that bold and contrasty. So I gotta figure out how to make them a little more bold and contrasty. I feel like there's a way to do it. I don't know what that way is, but I feel like there's a way. Yeah, I don't know what it is yet. I'm thinking there's got to be something, right? This one obviously doesn't have an image, but you can see I have a variety of plays here. They're visible. I put a little white border on them. You can see there's a little white border on the lines here, but they still don't stand out enough in my humble opinion. So what would be a good way to make the lines pop and have some contrast? I mean, you could do highlights and other kinds of things, but the only problem with highlights and such is they start getting really thick and you got these weird bold things all over your thing, so all over your pages. So you need something that kind of naturally has a decent highlight. Now, the reason I have different colors on these is to identify who's the primary receiver. Now, blue, I believe, is the primary receiver. And I want to show this, like who's secondary, who's tertiary, blah, 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 blah. So it's the order in which they're created. So on this particular map, so you can see things like it's got team mastery, how many times your team has ran this play, how close are they to mastering the play. How many times has it been ran? Honestly, I don't know what, this is just dummy data here, so obviously not real. So I just put numbers in. So I don't know that the number of times 17, if 21 of 30 might be, I don't even know what I had in mind with that. I think what that means is you have 21 of 30 players have mastered it. Because players can master plays. In other words, they can run their part of a play perfectly. But I haven't decided on how that's going to work. So maybe it's just teams. I haven't decided. But you got success rate. You're probably never going to have a success rate of 100%, especially after so many. But plays do get a success rate rating, and that's based on meeting certain expectations of yardages gained on certain plays. Like if you got a long pass play, it's probably going to have a lower success rate just because it's meant to go long. It's expecting to get more yardage. But on the same point, if it's got higher than average long play success, then you're probably going to want to use it on those long plays, right? So if the average for a play that's supposed to get more than 10, it might be a fairly successful play. So you got a success rate, and then maybe it'll be like, maybe I'll have something like a success rate, and then, I don't know, have some kind of category measurement or something, and then have, how does it do compared to other plays for you? Because everybody's got their own success rate, different players doing different things. So this one's averaging 1 yard. It's got a success rate of 100%. For a dummy play, you can kind of see why that one's kind of silly. But it's all the same. It's hard coded. So if I click out of here, oops, I'm on the wrong. If I click out here, they all have the same stats. So there's that. And then obviously I can filter it out by offense and defense. I should be able to click over to my edit team. Oh, look at that. My option button is it's not lining up quite right. Little things. All right, so then I've got my game plan, and the game plan is right. You can see it's also filtering off on how many offensive and defensive plays. These icons, they're color like this, but somehow this just looks more colorful. I don't know. Maybe it's just got weird lighting on these. I don't know. I got to see. But they still look better than they did. They still kind of have a bronzy look, but I like them as they are. So anyway, so the way these work is you'll be double clicking on this and you can set up your situation, which is to say what down is it, what's the distance, how much time is left, and what is the current score situation. And then you can plug in your offensive and defensive choices. But as you can see, I've got some flaws because for some reason it's, I don't know. Apparently it's not showing, it's not being squashed onto the screen for some reason. Yeah, look at that. So I've got some bugs. But anyway, that's where we're at. Things are laid out. I'm starting to get things going. This is actual data loaded from the database. So that's all good. If I click new here, it's just going to open this up as a blank. So you can see that there's nothing in it. And you can just set up a new situation, add new. There is some limitations on what you can delete, what you can add. As I was saying yesterday, there will be, I had delete buttons here, but I was going a different direction. So I removed them and then I decided to go back. So I'm going to end up putting those back. I don't like this. I'll probably have to figure out how to lock this down. Somehow you can drag the whole thing and it just goes back into its place. I was going to try and do the slide to delete thing like you see on emails and such, but that wasn't working. I didn't want to waste any more time on it. It just seemed like an unimportant extra. Like I could maybe add that in later, but you know, you gotta chop things off if they're taking too much time, especially if they're not, you know, they're not key to the game functionality. So you can see back here, I've got my stadium just sitting back here. It doesn't really matter. It's not on the, I can turn that off. But when I go here, you kind of still get to see, oh, dang it, if I go here, you still get to see the play because I can go do a quick play and hit kickoff. But I made it go quiet. Let's turn that back on. All right, continue here. So you can see it loaded up all of the team. There's a couple of guys that are just standing in the middle of the field. I just put them there for perspective when I was designing the field. But you can turn the cameras. This is the sidelines over here or at the end zone, and then this one here is. These are the two sidelines. Got the offensive and defensive sidelines, and then the other end zone. Now you might ask, why can't you see? Why can't you see the stadium on this side? It's because the angle of the field is steeper, so you can see the actual game getting played. This area up here is not going to be this. This is what I call my Jumbotron area. I haven't decided how big I'm going to make this. Right now it's taking up this whole back screen. When that is decided, I'll probably allow the field to either take up more space or show more stadium. What I'm thinking is the camera's going to allow more view. But when I'm in a smaller view like this, I want the field to actually take up more because it's a skinnier field, but you'll be able to see more along the sides because it's not going to be as big. Right now it's just stretched, but the problem is, see all the people, all the little guys on there, they get stretched too. I could probably adjust it so the guys don't get stretched, but the field would be stretched, so their steps would, like the field would be weird. They'd be out of proportion. So ultimately, I've got to figure out how to, what I might need to do is something like make them bigger, which might make sense, you know, have their height scale with their width, so they always get bigger because they're going to be on a longer field, so they're going to look bigger on a longer field, so it would offset the stretched field appearance. So nobody looks out of sync. That might be an idea because it's going to be, in theory, it's a smaller screen, so everybody's smaller, right? So then when you go to a bigger screen, the guys can be smaller for the same space because they're taking up more space off of the resolution. So now I've got a thing. I got to fix this as well. Now this is where I'm going to put all my profile stuff. It's blank on this side because this is where all your settings and everything else is going to be, and I just haven't got those in there yet. They will be there. What settings are you going to have? There's going to be a fair number, but at the beginning, probably not as many as there will be in the long term, because I want to get just enough stuff in there to give you some base options. Because you're going to be playing with other people, there's going to be a limited amount of what you can turn off and what you can turn on. You can't set game times unless you're playing AI only. I have been considering and building up AI strategies on how I want to code that, or not AI, but offline strategies, so that you can play the game offline in some situations. Like if you have an AI only league, if you're playing AI only games. Also, you know, it'll carry stuff over to your other league, but only if only if because there's going to be a marker, right? So whenever a game is offline, it will know at what point it left the servers. So in other words, if you're playing somewhere and it's been updating back and forth, every update will kind of log a progress mark. So if you try to play from another, say you're offline, while when you log in on another location, and say you don't ever connect your phone back after going offline, whatever you did offline will not get recorded back to the game. It's going to have a safety net that says, be sure you connect to the service again before connecting on another device, because then only the latest device data will be saved. Your current device data will not be saved, and it'll be reset, and whatever you did on your phone will be wiped out. So don't try to run any kind of shared data information. Now, like even your AI stuff is going to be like that. So make sure you connect, because if you won't be able to you can't basically run offline on a bunch of devices and have data keep going in, because it'll conflict, and it'll just tell you. It'll warn you, say, you know, data has been found that was out of sync. So it's basically the last one, and if one of them is updated, you lose whatever new data was there. So be careful about trying to play offline. That's the goal. I think it should be pretty easy. I've kind of got a concept on how it's going to be done, and I just need to track whenever someone's playing. So yeah, you won't be able to play on two different devices at once if you're trying to do that, because like I said, there'll be some conflict. If you're playing with two different devices that are fully connected, maybe, as long as they're not bumping heads, because they're going to synchronize, but you're just going to see some weird stuff happening on your phone or on your PC if you're trying to play in two places, because informational update in the middle. And additionally, if you try to like start a game in two places, it won't. It'll load this game that's already running. So you're only going to get the game that's in process. So that's the thing, is all games run offline. I have not yet figured out how I'm going to run the simulator offline. But things like, you know, maybe scrimmages and stuff like that. I don't know. Anything that doesn't need to run constantly. But that's down the road. We're not there yet. Let's just get everything working for a single play. Okay, so what that means is we've got like all of our primary buttons working for now. I don't really want to have a bunch of buttons. I'm hoping to get rid of a lot of these buttons and turn them into screen animations, screen parts, but eventually I'll have more and more pieces, and just having boatloads of buttons and tabs is kind of something I want to avoid. So Front Office Football 9, I was looking at it in detail, and I was actually looking at their whole description of what their features are. I haven't played it yet. Holy moly. One of their selling points, of the 205 pages in there, you can browse it, 205 pages I don't even know what to say. Sorry, guys. If you like having 205 pages of stuff to look at, this is not going to be the game for you. I think, I don't know, at release, 20 pages is about what I'm thinking. Something in the 20. And that's because I haven't put the roster on here yet. I expect roster to have some stuff. There will be a training piece. So I have roster and training, and front office stuff. So that's 3, right? Office, training, and front office. Those things don't exist yet. Those are coming. And I hope each one of those will probably have a few different things. Front office will have trading and what do you call it? Contracty stuff. Training will have, obviously, what do you do during practices, and how are you going to have your guys work during the week? And what was the other one I said? Training, front office, and roster. And roster is just like, checking your players' conditions, stats, how's everybody doing? You're kind of just looking at them, reviewing, setting your depth chart, that kind of thing. And then each one of those will have a couple of pages in there to help manage them, but it's not going to be hundreds and hundreds of pages to look at of stuff. If you like all that stuff, sorry. You're not going to get that from me. I don't like all that. I want stuff to play with and work with and be able to go on to the next week and see my players hopefully making some progress. But I think for now, we've got enough to get me started. And these are the things I'm going to need to get a game plan going. And I plan to have some basic buttons for those items coming up pretty soon, just so that they like teasers of what's available. Anyway, that's where we're at, and that's where we're going. It's 9:30. I don't have a ton of time because I'm talking too much, but I don't know, and I apologize for the stutteriness. I am running Unity. You run Unity, I get some stutters. That's kind of how my computer is. It's good at points. It's 51, dropping to 45. I don't know. It goes back and forth. So I got to make sure I do things like close my browser so it doesn't have too much junk. I've got to do my... All right, so I think the big thing is now I have got to start loading setting up my loads for the playbooks and start seeing what I can do. Because like you can see, I have this play. Oh, wait, what? Oh, wrong thing. All right, notice this. The game just comes up because this game is supposed to be running, right? It's supposed to be going through its clock. So right now, it's not. And when it's running, you can go to other pages, and you see how it shrinks down to the corner? It's not supposed to disappear. It's supposed to stay there and just be running in the corner like a little pip. A pip that sits on top of everything. I haven't spent a lot of time with it. I got it to shrink down to the corner. I don't know why it's disappearing, but it's not real high priority for me right now. That's a later thing when I get close, get more going in the sim. So I should be able to do this, or even this, but you can see that's not working, or anything. So I've got some things not quite right. So let's go ahead and see about editing. So really, technically, right now, what should be happening is user has no available plays because I have not created any available plays for the user. So this should be blank. This whole thing should be blank. When the user, though, gets to see all of the plays in their game plan, they'll be in the user's game plan, all of the defaults and team plays that are in their game plans, because you get all those plays. So if the team has 5 of its own plays and the default has 10 of its own plays, those will be in the user's playbook. They cannot be removed from the user's playbook. They are just part of the playbook. But as the user gains more plays, they can add more plays, and then they can change game plan parts and do overrides that change the plays. They're still there. They're just plays that are part of their game plan or their playbook. If you really and truly hate a play, I'll have to decide later on how I want to allow those to be removed. Maybe as long as you replace it with a play of the same type, maybe. But at first, you're just getting the team playbook, team game plan, and the default game or playbooks. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. There's the plan. Now I have to get both of these working or fully doing what they have to. Which one is? I need a delete option here, and obviously I need to test that delete on edit user and edit team. Should not be allowed, so they shouldn't have it. But when I click on default, I should have a delete button here. So let's go ahead and work on that. That's what I'm going to work on for a bit. Try to get this one going to where I'm actually inputting and outputting my game plan, actually building a game plan. So I'm loading from the database, but I haven't actually tested saving to the database yet. So that'll be next. But truthfully, or to me, it's been pretty cool navigating around in the game now, because it's starting to look like a game, right? It's starting to load stuff. Things are starting to attach. They're starting to have interactive connectivity. Okay, that's not true. My game plan interacts with all of its own parts. I have not yet got the playbook and the game plan to interact. And of course, ultimately, those two things are going to interact with the simulation. And so I do have to get all those parts running. But hey, patience, folks. We'll get there. All right, so let's go and work on my prefab here. We're going to go over to the add edit situation prefab. Let's go and stop this because I don't need that right now. Couple of things we saw when we were out there was that this guy, you know, a lot of what I'm doing in Unity, the graphics part of Unity is a big fat hairy pain in the butt. And that's what Unity's all about, right? You know, it's all about the graphics. Oh man, you spend so much time tweaking and playing with shapes and sizes to get them to respond, and holy moly, in a French fry, man, I tell you. Okay, so there's obviously a problem here. When this loads, only part of it is breaking, so I'm gonna have to test. Oh wait, where'd it go? I'm gonna have to test. So something is going on with this bottom row. It's the top one worked. Top row is let's see, 175, 590. We got stretch, and stretch, and it's set correctly. So why did this? I'm gonna have to run it again. I want to see if maybe the base frame works, but maybe it's this favored play that's jumping off the page. Do I have a layout element on this? I'll have to look. Because there's all kinds of little things you have to be aware of when you're loading this stuff. So let's see, we go here, and then we double click on it, and it opens, and then we go to here, and we go to, I don't need this guy showing right now, and close you up, and then we'll go here, and content, game plan, full scroll, content, situations panel, and then we got add edit situation panel. I gotta drill all the way down here, and see, because you can see I'm off the thing here, and that's what I'm trying to fix. I don't know why I'm out of alignment here, but we're gonna find out. Top row looks good. So what's different between top row, bottom row? So bottom row is actually good. It's the content inside of it that's broken, it looks like. So let's go see what top row's got going here that's different. Anchor positioner, top left. Does this have anything going on? Add edit situation. Nope. So the only thing we got going here is that and top left. Oh, there is a difference here. This does not have the anchor positioner, and this has, it does have a horizontal layout group, right? Comparatively. Oh, it does not have they do not both function the same. There's definitely some differences between them, because this top row has a horizontal layout group that's keeping everybody kind of on their proper spacing, and then this bottom one does not have that. And probably should put one on there. What else am I missing? This is situation panel. Dynamic loads are only on the scroll view. Okay, so we should be all right. Let's go look at this. Let's see if I can find this in here. So my problem is inside of these guys. So this guy does not have a horizontal layout group. Nope, that one does have. This one does not. And we're going to set it up the exact same way. Just the width. And then I'm going to set this one up the same as that one with a layout element. That layout element's not even in use. Huh. Are all of them not used? That one's got it. Did I change anything even? Not really. Okay. I think it's because the other ones are already spacing, and they have a preferred width that keeps them from getting too big. That must be why. That's my interpretation of the reasoning. But we're gonna go here. And we're gonna go add layout. That's already got a layout element. Oh, we already got that. Do all these have anchor positioners? They do. Oh, that's a whole different thing. This one. Honestly, I'm not sure that... Let's see what happens now that I just put that horizontal layout group on there. Let's go see what that does. Now, it doesn't guarantee it's going to do anything, but it might. Ah, look, it worked. That's all it was. I was just missing my horizontal layout group. Everybody's behaving now. They're back on the screen. Yay. What do you know? Something worked on the first try. It's not been my experience with Unity. Things working on the first try is like, whoa, that is not a normal thing. But hey, I'll take it. Let's go ahead and save this. Now you can save, interestingly enough, you can save changes to a prefab while it's running, but you cannot save changes to your main scene while it's running, which is really weird. But yeah, if you hit save when you close, they'll be gone. So saves that happen. So try not to make changes to your main scene while you're running. Now there might be tools or extensions that help with that, but yeah, if you try to make changes to your main scene, yeah, I don't recommend trying that. Okay, so I have a couple of Unity tips I want to do. One is don't do that. Two, did you know you can actually lock your inspectors? The reason that's even a thing, like say you want to so you have this guy, and then if you click over here, it's going to be the same, right? But if you lock this one, you can go back over to this one, which is not locked, and switch over to this one. So now you've got edit score differential there and minute edge. You got two different things. The advantage to doing that is sometimes some scripts require you to have a link to a component. And you get components by putting them in the inspector. So the only way you're going to be able to drag a component to the inspector, like if I took this guy and wanted to put it in here, I need to go here, and then I can drag it here, right? I can put it into one of these if it accepted it. This one doesn't, but I have had that situation where I've had a script that needed a link to a script that needed a link to a component, and you couldn't just put the object in there. There is the option of creating a game object and putting the script in it and then dragging it from there, but you're basically creating a script object, game object, which is really just cluttering your UI. Don't do that. Really, it's not great. It's bad. Don't add a bunch of junk to your screen. There's enough going on in your screen. Let the code be in the code area and the UI be in the UI area. Don't make them cross unnecessarily. And then the inspector will attach those two. It'll cross. Your inspector is the bridge between your code and your UI elements, and it'll give you the pieces it wants. What UI element does it want to manage? Well, here, tell me what they are, and you'll link them to the script, and then the script can do its thing. Let your code, everything that can be done in code or everything that's being done in code should stay in code. Now, there are tools in Unity. Honestly, I've never opened them ever yet. Probably will do someday, but where you can do a lot of what's going on in code with this weird wire up screen thing. You'll see a lot of people on YouTube when they show you how to do stuff in Unity, they show you this weird wire up process where you've got all these objects, you're drawing lines between everything to connect everything, and I'm like, that is one weird, it's visual programming is what it is. It's writing code for you. It's doing it in the back end. But a lot of what you're doing there, you can do in code. And I just prefer code. It just makes so much more sense than drawing lines all over the place. I look at that stuff and I'm just like, wow, that's like dropping a 50 balls of yarn unraveled into a pile and then stirring them all up and go, hey, now you just take this line and connect it over there and that line and connect it over there. And you got all these lines. And then you just look at it and go, what? It's like, you trying to follow the lines. This one goes to that and that one goes to that and those go to there. And it's like, how do people follow that? It's like, no, that's not right. But hey, you know, it's visual, and people who are artists and creatives prefer the visual, and I prefer the logical, the code, the being able to see what stuff is doing it, and have it just say, you know, this is what's going on, and that's just easier for me to read, easier for me to follow, and it just makes more sense. It just feels like you can organize it. That's just me thing. You know, everybody's got their own thing. But anyway, so I've got that set. I've got that fixed. That's one item down. Let's go ahead and see if, well, let's see what happens when I try to create one. It's that. Oh yeah, and I have to add, I forgot one more thing. Got to close this. Don't need it right now. I do need to go to my situation row. And in here, did I get rid of? I did get rid of. It makes sense because I wasn't planning to have it, but I will put it back. Let's go here. We're going to go to UI. We're going to add a button. We're just going to have this be my delete situation button. Yes, I put the extension on it. Most people probably look at me and go, what are you putting on the ends of those? Look, people, it's not obvious. It's like, I look at this, I don't know what half of these things are unless I look. Because even if you click on it, where does it say button? If anybody knows where this says button, short of maybe you might recognize, I don't know. I don't even know what the indicator might be. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what a button is unless I assign button to it. Are buttons just really game objects? I don't know, but they come with stuff. I mean, this one's just like comes with a label, arrow, and a template. And I guess if you know what those are, then you might go, oh yeah, this is a button. I wouldn't know that by looking at that unless I said button. So just say it. All right, so we're gonna go over here. I don't need option A because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to this and I'm gonna go down to my icons, button images. I need a good, I don't know, I want to say a delete button, but a delete icon. I don't know if I like these. They don't feel very football-y, huh? I mean, but what would be a delete football icon? I laughed because it was like, I might be trying too hard to be football-y. Yeah, I don't know. A flat football. Get rid of it. Yeah, well, we're just going to go with this thing here. We're going to stick that guy in there. And then we're going to give him a color. Go with what I have a color that I use for stuff. So let's go ahead and get that. I'm going to put it, I think it's one of my fonts here. Yeah. What is that? 75, 54, 33. 75, 54, 33. $75, 54, 33. Okay. And then we're gonna go there. What do you need an arrow for? What's an arrow? Should I stretch? let's go. All right, let's go stretch right. Whoa. Why didn't you like that? Did I have something in there that's kicking its butt? Why did stretch right go wonky on me? Huh. Well, it's not supposed to be that. 60. Alright, but it doesn't need to be 256 wide. I'm thinking like 60. Heck, maybe not even that. So I guess we have to use a layout element. Because am I using a horizontal layout group on this? I am using a horizontal layout group. I'll get rid of. I gotta let this guy know. And go layout element. And we're gonna go preferred width 40. I don't know what the arrow piece is on that. Let's see about preferred height. Let's go with 40 again. No? I'm not sure what arrow. What is drop? Oh, drop down arrow. Why do I have a drop down arrow on a button? Did I pick the right thing? Did I pick? Oh, I picked drop down. Oh my gosh. Dude, people, come on. What am I doing? Doing it. Just pick the right thing. Great gurgly murgly. People are like, what are you doing, man? That's not a thing. Just testing you. I'm trying to see if anybody's awake out there. Apparently you're not, because no one caught that but me. Oops. Can't put that there. That must be late. Yes, I'm going to blame lateness. I don't remember even now. 55, 54, 33. That's totally wrong. Don't know what that is. There's something with a 4 in the second and a something 33 at the end. I don't know. Let's try that again. Let's go see what my textiles are. 75. Oh, I was close. 75 is the other one. 54, 33. 75, 54, 33. So I was off by 20. 75, 54, 33. Doesn't look the same color though, does it? It still looks like red. Why is it still red? I really don't need that. That's weird. Okay, so I got to go look at the button, at another button that's got these guys are all buttons. Dun-dun-dun. These guys appear to be the right color. A logout button, delete account, which is not a button. Change username. It's a cycle icon. It's no material, but it is red. Oh, do we do it? Button. Huh. Prefab. Game situation. Change username button is cycle icon. No, it doesn't look. It just doesn't look the same color. So I don't know why it's looking weird to me. And how do I horizontally align this thing? It's the full width of the thing. So if I want this to be stretch right and say 60 high. See, that is not that color. Why? Huh. That's black. That is not the color I have it set to. Don't understand it. I don't. All right, let's go ahead and do a layout element here. Honestly, I think I want to. I want to make it smaller. That's what I want to do. Like, let's go with height. Like, I think my whole thing is 60. I feel like that's too high. Let's go with 40. And then I'll set this at 40 as well. Minimum width of 40. Now that said, it still needs to be centered. What if I go middle stretch? Nope, gonna have to turn this off. Then go middle stretch. Nope. Because you're dumb. Why are you being a turd? Why can't I set that to middle? Nope. Nope. Some values are controlled by the horizontal layout group. So I got to go here, disable the horizontal layout group, then go here, then go middle, and then we'll set height to 40. What if I go that's a 0. Okay, so that works. But the width is dumb. We're going to say 40 on that too. Even though I said middle right? Oh, because the X is off. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? I'm tempted to let that be off the page like that. I really don't want it taking up any of my important space. I don't. I want it to. I want it to be kind of out of there, but we'll go -20 for now. Just let it sit on the edge. Now we'll go here, and we will implement this again. See what happens. Nope. Dang Narbits. It's the stretch, isn't it? Well, it's not even stretched. Why did that get fatter? It's not supposed to get fatter. Min width, preferred width, priority. I don't have it flexible. Why is that getting big? Oh, did I not? Wait a minute. Let's go back over here. Let's enable this. Aha. That's the problem. Still not centered because it kind of threw out my centering. But now why doesn't it match my color? See, this is Unity being trouble. Should I do a raycast padding? That makes it easier to click the button. You give it, you let it expand past the width of the button. But kind of want. Is there a way to? What is native size? I don't even know how big that button is. I don't know if I trust that. That works. But how do I change its color? Bezzy! Bezzy, my friend, I don't know how to change the color of my icon. I set the color of my delete situation ribbon to make the icon color scheme, but the color did not change, just to black. What am I doing wrong? It's like, oh, you're such an idiot. Have you never used Unity before this? It's like, no, as a matter of fact, I have not. That's why I'm asking you how I do it. Actually, pretty soon I'm not going to be able to use the I don't know Unity plan because I've been using Unity now for 3 months, 4 months pretty heavily. Probably 4 months heavily. And we can go back a little farther and I can say, I might even be able to say 6 months. 2 months back last year, and then I went off for several months while I was working on back-end stuff, and then came back, and now I've been working pretty consistently in there, and I'm just... Whew, man, I'm cold. Freezing my tushkas off. It's already 10 o'clock. My day is gone. I've got to start wrapping presents tomorrow. I got to get some stuff on eBay. I got to take some more of my coursework for my personal trainer courses. If you need to change a black icon to another color, create a new material with a shorter. Verify sprite import settings. Select your icon sprite in the project window. It was red before. I had it before. Check image type setting. If your icon is white but still not tinting, select. All right, let's see. Use a white icon recommended. Replace your icon. Oh, was I using a white icon before? Maybe the black one just doesn't want to work. So was I using this icon? Maybe I was using this icon. Oh, that does change colors. Maybe I was using that one. I mean, they're both PNGs. Apparently a black one can't change colors. I don't know. Or it shades the color. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see how messed up it is, because it might get thrown off by this. I'm afraid what I might have to do is take 40 off of this guy to allow him. I have to take 40 off of something to allow it to fit. And if I don't want any of these other guys to be broken or misaligned, I think it has to be this one. That's why I was thinking I was letting him hang off if I could. Yeah, it may not let me. All right, so we'll go here. So we're going to take 40 off of him and just see what happens. Don't know if that fixed it completely. But then I got to implement my delete button in the same rules I had before. There we go. But you can see it's not, it's just allowing it. Oh yeah, I got to fix my, for whatever reason, my checkbox is either planting different. I don't know. Something's going on with that. All right. Okay. Well, I got to hit it, man. That's my summary short work day. 1 hour in. Tomorrow I'll be back. I will definitely be back. I assume I'll be back for streaming. I'll definitely be back to working on this. Got a lot of things I got to schedule into my day tomorrow. So that means getting up and I got to work out. Got to go DoorDash for about 20 minutes because I want to hit 200 this week and I was like $5 short. So I want to go get at least one quick thing. I don't know. I might do it until I get 20, which hopefully is only going to be an hour or so. But I don't want to spend too much time because I got to come back. And I've got about 1,000 things to check off tomorrow and it's going to be a crazy day.